We're waiting for the dip. You still haven't bought Bitcoin? No, it's gonna drop below 5K and then we're all in. Yeah, well, good luck with that. Driver, we're done here.
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Shout out to everyone that's been liking, subscribing, and commenting. So I just want to say, I know this video is coming out a little bit late today, but I had a little bit of an accident this morning. Side note, I decided to do the healthy thing. I made myself some homemade carrot juice, brought it upstairs in a big 32 glass, took my first sip, went to go turn around, literally knocked the whole thing all over my desk, my headphones, my ledger, my papers, my laptop, everything is just covered completely orange, so I spent the whole morning cleaning it up. So side note, that's why the video's out late. Anyway, we're here. We're going to rapid fire. We got some news today. So yeah, not too bad in the markets. Very, very light ups and downs. Nothing really crazy up or down. VeChain looks like it's doing pretty well. Ontology. So you do have Bitcoin sitting at 6,471, pulling back to a 51.2 Bitcoin dominance for the day. Ethereum still kind of struggling around that $300 mark, but it's starting to pick up some steam as well. If we look at the biggest gainers of the day, we have Ontology up 19.5%, VeChain, Nebulous, IOTA, Nano, DigixDAO, Huobi, Basic Attention, Chainlink, Wanchain, Zilliqa, Icon, Walton, Aeon, Neo, Bytem. Okay. Good day across the board. Everybody, good coins, everything's up. Let's move on. So talking about Wall Street demand for crypto rises, this is another article from Joseph Young. He says the interest of Wall Street firms towards opportunities in crypto custody and asset management has continued to increase despite the 80% correction the markets experienced this year. The strong performance of cryptocurrency trading platforms in a bear market or a downtrend led to the demand for crypto from Wall Street firms to increase. As the crypto asset class seasons and institutional demand builds, there are a plethora of opportunities for traditional firms. So you have David Solomon, the recent CEO and chairman of Goldman Sachs. He said that we are clearing some futures around Bitcoin, talking about doing some other activities there, but it's going very cautiously. We're listening to our clients and trying to help our clients as they're exploring those things as well. So considering the confidence shown by Robinhood and Square in the cryptocurrency market, analysts have suggested that it will be difficult for Wall Street firms to prevent forming a venture related to cryptocurrency markets as a long-term bet. So there's been all this news, there's all these different applications for ETFs. We had the ETN actually come out. So, and a lot of custodial options as well, right? You're seeing Coinbase, they just have their wallet that came out. We have all these other ones, Arcana as well. So that's just a lot of stuff to look forward. And, you know, the one thing that I kind of wanted to point out, I was going to go through this article. I don't really need to go through the whole thing, but essentially it says banks are eyeing 1.5 trillion in credit card secrets. So you have Cardlytics wants to use your purchasing data to market to you. So we all kind of know that when we sign up for credit cards and debit cards, we pretty much sign away our privacy, right? I mean, they know what you're buying, where you are, they know your location. Like, you can track somebody based on where they're using their credit card purchases. But then the question is it really fair to then take that data and use that data to then try to basically sell things back to us? You know, you have, for example, Bank of America Corp. They have their AmeriDeals, which gives the bank credit and debit card holders cashback offers at retailers. This is an example of how, based on what we know of our customers, they say we can personalize the experience. But the bottom line is that banks are working with Cardlytics in hopes that, you know, targeted special offers will get their customers to spend more on their cards. So essentially, they're using your spending habits and then trying to sell you more stuff that you probably don't need, right? So on top of the fact that not only cryptocurrencies allow you to actually hold your own money, you are your own bank, it actually also protects your privacy as well. And you don't have your data being leaked out everywhere. Now, maybe this isn't a concern for most people, but to some people, it is. And actually, regardless of whether or not it's a concern, it's still kind of wrong in a way. But then again, you're signing up for their services, so you get what you get. So these are just other things that I personally think blockchain are going to definitely revolutionize, and they already are, actually, moving forward. And then, real quick, I don't want to harp too much again on the panic in Venezuela, but again, we have another story. We have minimum wage is increased from $1 to $30. Now, some people would be like, oh, that's great. Well, it's great, but this has led to shops closing down because otherwise they'd have to spike up prices to unbearable levels as Maduro announces a new bolivar is to be pegged to the petros. Obviously, they have to raise prices if they're going to 30x what they used to pay their employees, right? So it says that right now people are on the streets, they're crazy trying to buy anything. Most stores are closed. Another person that was interviewed asked if he could get some money so he could leave the country. Then you have Lewis, who's trying to manage the crowd, says that the supermarket is now closed. The shelves are almost empty because of the number of people who came early. But you do have Maduro. He's promising to cover the wages for the first 3 months. But how he would do so and whether they'd be in time to keep these businesses afloat is completely unclear. So this is just crazy to me. I cannot believe this situation. In fact, these are things that you kind of like hear about in like dystopian futures, right? Like, but now I'm seeing this happen in the real world, and it's just insane to see. It's like every decision that they make keeps getting worse and worse and worse and worse. First, we're gonna like subtract zeros. Now we're gonna just 30x the pay, right? The interesting thing though that I did find out from this article is that the Petro is actually a token that's running on the NEM blockchain. I didn't know that. So that's pretty interesting, to say the least. But, you know, they say that although they're trying to speed up transactions with having different kiosks across the country, the one thing that is the issue is that there's no exchange of volume for the listings of the token. It's not found on CoinMarketCap at all. This means establishing its real price besides what the government says won't exactly be easy. So whether they're going to do something, considering that they don't have any choice anyway, remains to be seen. But through this economic transition, there's probably going to be some more difficult times ahead for Venezuelans. So even though they're trying to technically have a crypto, it's still extremely controlled by the government. Like I said, it's not even on CoinMarketCap. There's really no place that I can find that you can exchange this token. So it's still kind of keeping them like in a little bubble, you know? It's still keeping it all within its own ecosystem. And the idea is they got to break free of that. But anyway, moving on, I wanted to talk about some crypto coin news super quick. I want to keep this episode short today. It's the weekend, you know, we don't need to be doing news all day. So, but the one thing I want to say is Exodus Wallet now has XRP and True USD. While with XRP, I really don't care about it. However, it is good for fast transactions. I will say that. You know, I've come to the conclusion that at this point, if you're going to use XRP, basically use it as a means of just transfer, right? Trade into XRP, send the XRP to another exchange, trade into what you need. If you need to like do an arbitrage or get something really fast. Other than that, well, we all have our opinions. But the thing that I like is True USD. That's awesome. Because Exodus Wallet is really simple to use. Now, granted, it's not the safest wallet. It's still kind of a hot wallet. I mean, it's on your desktop. But having True USD is really awesome. That way you don't have to rely on places like Binance or Bittrex to keep your, you know, Tether or your USDT to your stable coins while you're trying to hedge against market volatility. So I really think that's a good move moving forward for those guys. You also have CZ coming out from Binance saying that Binance pays their employees, well, it says it pays 90% of its employees in BNB. I think this is awesome. I think this is great. You should pay your employees in your tokens. I mean, I think that that would really help for you to make sure that the value of your tokens actually remains, you know, in good standing, right? I mean, if you were just paying them in cash, then you wouldn't care about your token. So I think it's really cool. That's why even what you saw with Nebulous, how they're waiting 10 years to get paid, really awesome. That shows their belief in the platform, their belief in the token. And on top of it, can I just point this out? It's kind of a secretly clever way to increase volume, right? Because Binance, they have to buy the tokens off the exchange, so that's volume. Then those tokens that they then give to their employees, those employees have to sell those tokens on the exchange. So that's double the volume. And then on top of it, Binance is still keeping those fees anyway. Tricky you guys, Binance, but you gotta give it to Binance. You gotta give it to Binance. So we also have this interview that came out from Token Club. This is an interview with Neo founder Eric Zhang. So, you know, he's been in the news recently, kind of coming to the forefront like Superman, saving all these disasters with the DOS vulnerability and everything else, Red for Sec. So if you guys are interested, this is an hour long. It is in Chinese, but they do have subtitles, so you can definitely check that out as well. Also, from the Accord project, they've recently partnered with Chainlink. So actually, if we go back here, that may have to do with why Chainlink is up 10% today. So basically, they partnered with Chainlink to create an industry-led open source implementation for the use of Oracle data in smart legal contracts. So this is something that we've been talking about as well. We've actually talked about lawyers, potentially the lawyers of the future. Will they learn how to code and read code and stuff like that? Will they be out of a job? Will smart contracts replace these middlemen, right? Well, I don't think they'll replace them. They may take a few jobs along the way for those that are not willing to adapt. But at the same time, I think this is really good. But the difficult things with the oracles is that you have to make sure that the data that's being put into these oracles that's then being relayed to the smart contract is valid, right? You got to make sure you don't have a bad actor outside in the real world. Like, what if you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, so a smart contract acts on a certain given condition. That condition is fed the data from the oracle, but the oracle is connected to the real world, like actually to the real world. So who's putting the data in? That's something to keep in mind. So there still are some concerns about this, but I do like to see these types of partnerships moving forward. Also, I wanted to talk about the HoloPort Genesis boot. It's officially live. It's done. As you guys can see right here, I'll play for like 5 seconds of it. Right here.
Hi everyone, welcome. This video is the Genesis boot, or first boot, of the HoloPort operating system on the HoloPort hardware. And that's what
so you can see right here, just more tech type stuff. I mean, if you guys are into stuff like this. So basically that happened. I'll drop that below. It's about a minute. I mean, it's really, you don't really have to watch the video. Just know that it happened, kind of just bringing that news out to you as well. Also, I wanted to talk about Aeon founder Matt Spoke at Blockchain Futurist Conference. Now, what I found really interesting about this was he actually barely talks about Aeon at all, which is weird. Like, normally you think these projects are going to go up there, they're going to shill their coin, shill their project. Literally just talks about moving forward, progression of blockchain, what we need to do, his opinion on it. Really, really, really great. It's only about 11 minutes long. As you guys can see here, obviously 0 thumbs down, 75 thumbs up. Actually, I'll give it a thumbs up. It was a really good video. So definitely check this video out if you guys are interested. Also, moving on. So talking about some coin, not some coin news, some actual just real news. So we have NVIDIA. It says gamers rejoice as GPU sales to crypto miners continue to plummet. Now, while we might be saying on our end that that's a bad thing, you know, the thing is that gamers have been left frustrated in recent years by skyrocketing prices of cards as mining operators snap up several with each order. A high-end gaming rig will usually require at most 3 graphics cards, and these buyers have represented a small portion of the overall market. So, you know, while they're saying that the sales have kind of gone down, you know, NVIDIA found themselves in a situation where they were actually not able to have supply meet demand, so they started changing everything, started rapid producing all these cards, and now all of a sudden no one's buying them anymore. But they said it's okay, they're not worried. You know, it'll find its equilibrium again. And this is actually good news for the gamers, because I know they were getting really pissed off last year. So they were like, these damn crypto miners. So that's news coming out of that as well. Also, guys, a lot of people ask me, where do I get my news from? How do I find out all these different sources? So obviously you can just look at the pages as I'm scrolling through them. But I found this article from Invest in Blockchain, which is one of the sources that I use, but they actually listed 10 websites, and I agree with a lot of these. So you have CoinDesk, Cointelegraph, Bitcoin.com, not my favorite, CryptoVest, CCN, Bitcoinist, Blockonomy, CryptoSlate, News BTC, Invest in Blockchain, obviously. Another one too that I like, guys, I want to show you real quick is, I should go to this live, Crypto Panic. This one's really good too. They have all this stuff right here, but it's it's really text written, but it's got like crap loads of info. So if you guys are ever curious, those are great spots you can get news. So also moving on, it says the U.S. congressman representing the Ohio state invites big players in cryptocurrency industry for a discussion regarding the regulation of ICOs. The congressman thinks the cryptocurrency market is risky and unsafe due to lack of regulation. Quoting him, "I intend to lead legislation for initial coin offerings to clarify the role of regulators, protect consumers, address national security concerns, and facilitate a pro-growth environment for business to raise capital." So this isn't the first time that we've heard Davidson's comments related to ICOs and cryptocurrency. Last June, he stated in an interview with CNBC that the ICO market required a light-touch regulatory framework in order to provide certainty for the ICO markets. However, not all state representatives in the U.S. House of Congress seem to be in favor with cryptocurrency. Congressman Brad Sherman said that cryptocurrency should be made illegal.
That's fairly silly.
Moving on, we have, as no-deal Brexit looms, UK blockchain startups are weighing options. So recent hurdles have raised the specter of a no-deal Brexit that could lead the economic turbulence and uncertainty that could lead to. It's that uncertainty that has some blockchain startups sweating about the future prospects, at least in the months ahead, as politicians attempt to hammer out an agreement. So it says right here, it's because All fintech regulation experts and lawyers are busy with so many things at the moment, they wouldn't be busy if the Brexit wasn't happening. In terms of just getting time with people, it's difficult at this moment. Will Brexit be a hindrance in the mid and long term? That really depends on how successful Brexit will be. So they talk about a stormy horizon. So to other blockchain firms who aren't facing that specific issue, the ramifications of a hard Brexit have become a big concern. If negotiations around Brexit falter, cross-border market testing will be much harder and compliance costs for providers will increase. For London-based blockchain startup Globacap, for example, the biggest concern is likely to be the threat of the loss of passporting rights. In its white paper on Brexit, the British government proposed new trade arrangements with the EU, suggesting that the UK and the economic bloc maintain current agreements to trade goods, but not services. So under the proposal, British financial services companies such as banks, insurers, asset managers risk losing their passport rights, which grant them unconstrained access to other EU markets when the UK formally exits the bloc next year. So what does this all mean exactly? Well, unless a deal is struck to extend market access, at least for a transition period, these firms will have to pay up to open new bases of operations in the EU or face a severe loss of market access. Blockchain companies that provide payments or e-money services therefore anticipate unfavorable impacts on their business, with a number of firms contemplating to set up separate EU subsidiaries to avoid being blocked from the market altogether. Finally, it's not all doom and gloom. So you have Richard Cohen, a UK-based lawyer at international law firm Allen & Overy, contended that Brexit would have little effect on the blockchain industry as a whole. In fact, he sees it as a potential positive for the country in terms of its approach to fintech. The UK will be allowed to come up with a regulatory framework that is much more favorable to fintech companies and become a friendly jurisdiction in which banks can make the best use of blockchain and global opportunities. Wow, that was quite a story. Quite a lot going on there, guys. I'm sure that won't be the last that we're going to hear about Brexit. Also, just wanted to drop this right here, but we were talking in the beginning, ETN versus ETF, which is the investor's dream? Well, here's an opinion by Darren Pollock. I will leave this in the description for you guys. I'm not going to go into this because it's a very subjective article. It's more of an opinion, but you guys can read this and formulate your own opinion as well. And before we go, guys, I wanted to just kind of say that this article on Coin Bureau points out 4 blockchain products you can actually use today. So in a sea of over, well, how many do we have now? Let's see. 1,855 cryptocurrencies. We have 4 products that at least can be used today in the real world. So we do have number 1 being the Brave browser, which functions, it works just fine. We also have Steemit, which a lot of people have been complaining lately about the whales and their power, but there you go, it does work. We also have Dent, which is liberating the world's mobile data market. And finally, we have Publica, which is a blockchain-powered publishing platform that is revolutionizing how books are published. In fact, Cryptonauts, I think, recently did a pretty in-depth video on that, Cryptonauts. Nathan over there, Captain Crypto, if you want to check that out. That was a pretty good coverage of that as well. And guys, as we know, it's been a tough year. I can't believe anyone that's actually still out there that stuck it out. You guys are awesome. Tough times. Are they gone forever? I don't know. It's crypto. It's volatile. I'm sure there'll be some FUD. But I'll tell you what, with all of this interest from institutional money, the ETNs, the ETFs, I definitely have a good feeling moving forward, and I'm very excited to see how the second half of this year pans out. That being said, guys, I wanted to say once again thank you for coming back to a Sunday edition of Crypto Zombie. You guys are amazing. Everyone that's been smashing the like button, everyone that's been subscribing, I love you guys. Joining the Crypto Zombies family, joining the Telegram group below. Let's do this, guys. Let's get going. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and that being said, my name's K-Dub. This is Crypto Zombie. Until next time, stay crypto. And peace out.
So that I think that the internet is going to be one of the major forces for reducing the role of government. The one thing that's missing, but that will soon be developed, is a reliable e-cash, a method whereby on the internet you can transfer funds from A to B without A knowing B or B knowing A. The way in which I can take a $20 bill and hand it over to you, and there's no record of where it came from. And you may get that without knowing who I am. That kind of thing will develop on the internet, and that will make it even easier for people to use the internet. Of course, it has its negative side. It means that the gangsters, the people who are engaged in illegal transactions will also have an easier way to carry on their business.